the type of bonds that we have talked earlier. Probably you might find the name changed a little bit. Do you remember when we talk about implicit and explicit interest rate? Implicit interest rate is the interest that these zero coupon bonds have. So the value of the interest is not separately given. However, there is a difference between the face value and this discount price. That amount is not stated in terms of percentage. That's why on the coupon on the bond, there is not, or you cannot find anything that tells you the interest rate separately or that states separately. However, on the interest bearing bond, the interest rate is separately stated on the bond. Again, if you don't know more about the interest bearing bond, I have made a video. I'll put a link in the description, or you can click here, that tells you everything about bonds, how bonds work. So interest bearing bonds are the bonds where the interest is stated separately, explicitly, not implicitly or being included in the discount, in the difference on the discount and the face value. However, the difference between the interest rate is separately stated on the bond contract or the bond coupon, or the coupon interest rate is stated. It might be fixed or floating. However, if it is fixed, if it has fixed interest, it might be callable or puttable or term bond type. However, if it has a floating interest means it has some base. It has a base. For example, if the base is LIBOR rates, this means it's an interest rate that the London banks borrow. So if on the bond indenture, if there is LIBOR rate plus 2 stated on the coupon, this means after some year, if the London bank interest rates goes up, so we should pay an interest that is 2% greater than this London banking rate. It says LIBOR rate plus 2. So whenever the London banking rate fluctuates, the price or the interest we pay as an issuer will also vary. However, if it is fixed interest rate, if it's 8%, nothing will change this amount, even if the market rates fluctuates or not. That's why we might have callable and puttable bonds in this kind of scenarios. Also, bonds can be classified based on their security. Some bonds are secured. Probably the issuer might hold some collateral, the holder, if the issuer fails to pay the face amount at maturity. The other one is unsecured. Unsecured bonds are known as debentures. This is when the holder doesn't hold any collateral that helps him to take whenever the issuer fails to meet its obligation at the maturity. That's why we call debentures are risky, because there is no collateral here. Finally, based on maturity, it might be classified as perpetual or traditional. Perpetual means console bonds. Console bonds are the bonds that has indefinite maturity. However, traditional or term bonds or other bonds might have some limited or specific time that the bond is settled. This is all about bond. So let's talk about shares. We have seen a lot of things about shares at the start. There is something called IPO, seasonal offer. We have talked about this in our financial market sections in the previous videos. Based on the time issued, it might be classified as initial public offer or seasonal offer. I'll put the link in the description, or you can click here. Based on where the bonds are issued, can be classified as primary market equity instruments or secondary market equity instruments. There is also something called a bearer stocks and register stocks. Register stocks means an equity that the name of the holder is written on the share. However, bearer shares doesn't have the name of the holder and easily marketable. There is also preferred share and ordinary share or common stock. It's hard to classify preferred stock in the equity instrument because as an equity instrument, because they have both the nature of debt instrument and equity instrument.